Spoke it to her, she took her back. Boy, I swear, if the Adjustment Bureau don't get their asses back in the fucking case and leave me the fuck alone. I swear they do though. I don't even want to talk about the stupid shit that they can do. One day I will though. So, the Constantine, you know, the way he came, the way he cast spells, and then there is a nun, you know, where she used to be with him, and she is the one who taught him how to do magic, you know. So she is the Aleister Crowley person. Now, I was going with the one, it was the devil's vinyl, and it sent me to, I think it was acetate. And it is a form of a chemical, right? And dealing with salt and other things. Okay, so this is what they made the record out of. Boy, was I dun. See, I was talking to Naima, and I was telling Naima how the Adjustment Bureau just keeps trying to slow me down. And you know, she said, I think you do need to slow down. She said, sometimes you go so fast. She said, when we review what you say, you go so fast, you miss so many things. Yeah, because if I stay and I do everything I see, it'll take me 1,000 years. And I do go kind of fast. And some things I do not see because I am a dumb and this is why I do not know why. Well, I know why, but it just kind of, you know, like, I can say the entities, you know, why they come to me, I really don't know much, you know, I don't. I was reading all about the chemicals, and I'm like, so how did they do this to a record? They made the record out of it. Also, when the chemical is vinegar, let's go just a little bit. Okay, well, too bad, so sad I got over that part. However, I did say we were going to play like Chinese jump rope. That means I will jump from here to there. I will jump in, jump out, jump side to side, then I'll jump on, jump in, jump out. You know, that is how you play Chinese jump rope. So, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so now I see, okay, so that's what they made the record with. And then, you know, like if your record gets scratched, or maybe your record needs to be clean, you use vinegar and or alcohol. You know, if your record gets scratched, if it is a record, a vinyl record, then you will take the butter, because it was real butter, and you will put the butter on there. You know, and smooth it around like oil it, you know. And if the scratch is not so deep in your record, whether it be an LP or a 45, the scratch is not so deep, then it will slide straight over the butter. So then they got rid of those, and then they had some tapes, and they got rid of those, and then they came in with the CDs. And they noticed the CDs were just like the records. And possibly around that time, it is so plausible that around that time, they came in with those CDs. It's around the time they hit damn near what they call the epitome of them controlling our minds. You know, because although constant means to go on and on and on, but you know something else that goes on and on and on, they are constantly changing shit. Hold on a minute. Okay, back to them being so constant with their shit, that they are constantly also changing. I'm kind of, I'm not stuck. I am just thinking about what, you hear how quiet it is, right? But yeah, something just happened there. It was so quiet and no one could see it. After all of it was over, and it's really just me, you know, like the heater began to give off this awful smell, you know. The heater has never given off that smell before. However, when I was very young, I was at someone's house, and I was staying the night, and when they turned the heater on, that smell came in, and then the uncle, I think it was the uncle, if I can't remember, because I was really young, you know. So the uncle comes in, and he says, "What is the smell?" And he goes straight to the heater and he turns it off. He said, "Do you know that is the smell that can kill you when you are in your sleep? Or while you are just watching TV and you're smelling the smell and you just keep smelling the smell, and soon it will kill you." So many years later, I find it is some form of a gas that can come from a stove. It can also come from a heater. I forget the name of it. And you can, just like the little fire disc you have in your house. You know, if you have a fire, it goes off the fire alarm. You can get one of those too. And then you can see how high, damn, I don't know the name of it. But anyway, you can see how much of it is in your house. However, there are many, many reports that many people have died from this. And also, if you are using your actual stove to heat your house, because it's kind of cheaper and it's a whole lot better, really it is, then you put a pot of water in the middle of the stove if the eyes are on. A big pot of water in the middle of the stove, and put, if the oven is on also, then you put a big pot of water on the oven door. You know, you open the oven door up and you put your big pot of water there, and that will stop the whatever kind of smell that it is, you know. And now that I know about, Dirty Diana, because, smart meters and all this shit, did you know it brings about what is called dirty energy? At least I call it dirty energy. It floats in your house. Sometimes you can get it in your camera. You just may not know what it is, or maybe you think it was a bug, but they fly by real quick and it's more so like a ghost, actually, but they're very small particles, Sometimes it comes in your camera. So that is what just happened, It was also quiet. And see, then I have this thing. I don't fear it. If I am the only one to get caught on fire or to blow up, I don't give a fuck. However, I don't want anyone else to blow up or get caught on fire with me, because there was a time I had a dream, but dreams can only just be dreams too. And then even in my waking hours, and that's possibly why I had the dream. It's like my brain said, my pineal gland was telling me that they were going to try to burn me up, right? And then it goes to, that's why they burned my eyeball, to burn all the evidence. There was no evidence anymore that my eyeball had been lobotomized, and there's no evidence anymore that they tased his testicles. They covered up, I think it's called snowboarding or sledboarding, they put a cloth over your mouth and keep just pouring water on you. And that is also how they killed Jimi Hendrix. But except they did not use a cloth. They just, because they cannot beat him up to make him get on his knees to someone that thought that Jimmy would suck his dick. So Jimmy would not do it. And they beat Jimmy really bad. See, you don't know these things. They beat Jimmy really bad. And you're talking about Jimi Hendrix. You know, the one that played the guitar? You know, because they took him over there in Loomtown. You know, he was in Europe. He was the big thing in Europe, you know. Probably in more ways than one. So, they beat him really bad, and the man stuck his dick in his mouth and he bit that motherfucker straight the fuck off. And that is when they bent his head back and poured the liquor and just kept pouring it and pouring it. And in the movie, all of a sudden, you see the liquor that they are pouring down his throat. It is like a faucet with water just going down the drain. And then all of a sudden, the drain, it throws up. You know? And then Jimi Hendrix, he crashes. And then they showed me a documentary, a true thing of how he died, you know. They're gonna give me little bits and pieces here, but I already had the truth of what happened, you know. And I see some of the truth in that documentary. And they are so quiet in the way they can kill you. And they will not just kill you, they will kill others. Like 9/11, look how many people died. Something else went on in Oklahoma, another bombing. That was not the first bombing in Oklahoma. That was the first bombing of them bombing everyone. You know, no matter what home you come from. Yeah. They're very sneaky, very cunning. I mean, look at the Pope and all his little booty-ass kids. They, you know, the priest, and the word priest, the rest, it's called rest. So it's like the Pope and the rest. They have been known to fuck little boys since the caveman days. And then one of Inky's daughters, and it seems as though his daughters do come out and tell you things. So one of Inky's daughters, she came out to tell about the Kinsey syndrome, or the Kinsey report, or whatever the fuck it is. Then Kinsey leads you back to Aleister Crowley. Do you know how long ago it was when she came out with that? And babies and children are still being raped. And now they even bomb them. They target them. They put them in mental institutions. They fuck with them in the womb. You know, because there is a scripture, it says how the dragon, he stood there and he waited for her to deliver. He can stand there and wait for you to deliver with your abortion. Or he can stand there and wait for you to deliver your baby when your baby comes, or when they make your baby come. But the dragon is still standing there waiting for your child. Why is the dragon waiting for your child? So he can implant dirty Diana in your child. Dirty Diana. In the word Diana, hidden is DNA. They dirty up your children's DNA, our children's. They dirtied up theirs first. They even called their kids devils. Oh, you little devil. That used to be on something that came on Dick Van Dyke. Dick Van Dyke. Wow. And little Richie. Wow. I'm just now seeing and hearing these things. Wow. Little Richie was their son. And Laura, Laura has a lot to do with the evil, Satan, and Lucifer. Wow, a lot of things. It's like my brain cells just begin to just do what the fuck they want to do and start connecting. And then I can see the light. It's like, wow. Dick Van Dyke, Little Richie, and Laura. But anyway, Laura would call her son, and she would say to him, "You little devil." And it really, maybe I would go and watch an episode just to see, but not now. I want to get back to, these niggas need to get their asses back in the cave and just leave me the fuck alone. And the people around me, come on, just leave us the fuck alone. We don't mess with you. We don't do anything to you. Yeah, I talk about you because you fuck with me. If you did not fuck with me, I would not say shit about you. Because they would not know anything about you. But now that I know, I must do a Leviticus 5:1, just like, your kids that you fucked up. They're running around telling Kathy O'Brien. It does not matter to me if she is telling the truth or if it is some hocus pocus bullshit. Either way, what she is saying that happened to her is so evil to do a child like that. Wow. And then T11, he is a Jew boy. He did not know, but he is a Jew boy. I call him Tesla. And there's reasons why I call him Tesla. But I just call him Tesla. Sometimes when I'm talking to him, because, he's always into these magnets and shit like that. Trying to make a spaceship so that he can get to the other side of the moon. He always talks about the dark side of the moon. I know about the dark side of the moon. The reason you are trying to get back to the dark side of the moon is because that is where your people came from. See, that's why I did like talking to G11, because I can tell him things like that, and he has a mind. He would think about it and say, oh, that, it does all that up. So, he is also a Project Blue Beam baby. And he is. And I know this because the things he was telling me about himself, and then he is the one who introduced me to Project Blue Beam, which is also dealing, with all of my control and Dirty Diana. Yeah, he's gone through a lot of shit, a lot of abuse too, but he never spoke of sexual abuse. Maybe never sexual abuse, but someone was always whooping his ass. Whether it was the children in school, and then if he fights back and he whoops someone in school, then, he gets his ass whooped by one of the nuns or the sisters or whatever the fuck you call him, motherfucking Catholic ass. You don't want to have no motherfucking children, but yeah, you want to beat on somebody else's child. And then I say, well, what were your parents? He kind of got an attitude, Oh, well, they were at work. Well, my parents worked too. But I bet you when I got in first grade, and that first grade teacher, the way she grabbed the pencil out of my left hand and opened to my fingers, to my right hand, and threw the pencil in and closed my fingers, and I had to get my wrist set all over again. I bet you Jenkins was up there. And Jenkins did not only just work, Jenkins went to school also. He go to work, he go to school. He leave school, he go to work. He come home, he get a little sleep. He go to work, school, he go to work. He come home and get a little sleep, like that. I bet he went up to that school, and I told him that too. My parents work too. Where were your parents? There is no fucking way in the world these things will happen to me at school. And my parents want me at school, and these things are happening to me. And while they're happening to me, you will allow them to happen to me? Oh, hell no. My parents knew everything that went on in school. If the school did not call to tell, I was telling. Sometimes I tell before the school calls. Because I know I was a child, and sometimes adults will believe the other adult was a child. Oh, now I want to get back to what I was talking about here. The vinyl, the devil vinyl. So I went to see about all of the chemicals in the vinegar, right? That is what they use to make the record. So now, what when your record is scratches or you want to clean your record, so you use the vinegar. And what if that stirs up even more and more? What if we have stirred up these things ourselves and we did not know? Sometimes I just think like that. I have many thoughts on one thing, so that's just a thought. Now, next we will talk about, they went into this, and I think they went into Astro or something like that. So I will find that, and then that is what I want to speak on. Se toca live out.